You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we got a couple of things we're going to talk about. We've got the potential value of the Nike signature shoe for Caitlin Clark and what that is looking like from an all-time standpoint, a money standpoint, and it's a big number. All right, we know that shoe's coming, and it's going to be a big deal, and they're going to sell a lot of it. And this gentleman that they're talking to in this makes a point to say, this thing's not going to just be a big seller in the WNBA. It's going to be a big seller across all of basketball. That's going to be women's, men's, college, and the NBA. You're going to have NBA players wearing Caitlin Clark's shoe. Think about that a minute. And the other thing we're going to talk about is, look, the WNBA continues to get the kind of attention they shouldn't want. All right. Again, Colin Cowherd is making a point to talk about the WNBA again. He does it now multiple times a week, but only when it comes to one player, or in this case, one player and what it is the rest of the league is doing to her. And this is basically the top radio show in the country, the top sports, simulcast on Fox Sports every day. The Herd's been around for 25 years. And look, he only talks the biggest brands: Cowboys, Chiefs, Lakers, LeBron, Jordan. He's only going to talk about things he knows will nationally draw a rating. Yankees, Dodgers. And he makes a point now to talk about Caitlin Clark. This kind of thing, though, should make Kathy Engelbert cringe, because when a liberal guy like Colin Cowherd says what he says, but there's one little word he drops in there that sort of confirms everything we've been saying. All right? It's pettiness, it's jealousy, and there's a racial component to the hate that Caitlin Clark is taking. And, of course, he's talking about the embarrassment that is the players in the WNBA voting Caitlin Clark as the 9th best guard, not player, guard in the league. It's laughable. It makes these players look ignorant, low IQ, jealous, petty, racist, you name it. I mean, they can run the gauntlet. We could just break it down to they're just a bunch of total unlikable assholes. That's a thing.
Caitlin Clark finished 9th in player voting. In fact, she finished behind one of her own teammates in player voting for the All-Star game. The pettiness has no bounds. But it's interesting. For years, the WNBA players were pointing fingers. They were saying people are sexist, the media is sexist, we're not being promoted, we're underappreciated. And then they get the golden goose and they don't like what it looks like. Iowa girl, Indiana girl. Well, who knows? And I've said this for years. When the wave hits, ride it. You don't know what it looks like. Don't fight it. When Puka Nacua went in the 5th round of the Rams and they suddenly in camp went, oh, we just found a new number 1 receiver. He's better than Cooper Kupp. They didn't fight it. Did you think when you watched Tom Brady at the Combine, that looked like the GOAT? They had just signed Drew Bledsoe to a $103 million contract. That was a lot of money back then. And then a year in, they're like, I'm going to go with Brady. They didn't fight it. And Drew Bledsoe was still very, very good. So, there's obviously a racial component here. The WNBA players, they just don't.
Did you hear that part? There's obviously a racial component. Kathy Engelbert, Adam Silver. It's not a good look.
Don't like what the Wave looks like. They wanted to fly private. They wanted to be more popular. They wanted a better deal in the CBA, which they'll get. They wanted sold out arenas. They got it. They don't necessarily think it should be this. But again, you can't fight it. You just never know what success looks like. I mean, every company in the country would love to go viral every day for free marketing. If they knew how to do it, they'd all be viral every day. Like, you just don't know. Is it authentic? It touches people. There's a tentacle of emotion involved, and suddenly some small town kid goes viral, or a singing frog. Who knows? I wouldn't have guessed that Caitlin Clark would be this transformative. I wouldn't have guessed Tom Brady would be the GOAT. Don't fight it. The wave, the meteor, doesn't necessarily look like you think it's going to look.
Yeah, if anybody, look, I've covered the NFL for a long time. And, I didn't back when Tom Brady was drafted. I remember watching that combine and seeing what Tom looked like. He looked like anything but the future greatest NFL player of all time. But we had some idea when it came to Caitlin Clark that this was how it was possibly going to look. But I have to admit, I did not see these players fighting her and the potential success of the entire league. They're fighting the success of the league. They're mad because it's not them. They're mad because it's not a lesbian. They're mad because it's not a black woman. They're angry. And they're everybody can see how absurd it looks. To non-old WNBA fans, these players look like a bunch of damn fools. They look like a bunch of damn fools. And racist, to be honest. It's crazy. It really is. So, the Nike shoe, the signature shoe, Front Office Sports had an interview with a shoe expert. Listen to this.
Well, I was going to say, is there pressure on Nike given the fact of who she is, what she represents to the league and to women's sports, but also this is the first shoe she's ever had. So is there just increased pressure on this to get this right then?
So signature shoes, I would say in the W have obviously there was about a 10-year window where there weren't any players with a signature. We've now seen Sabrina's line take off. Her line, there was 54 NBA players that wore it last season, and it's become one of the biggest businesses in signature shoes. Asia Wilson now has had a successful launch as well. And so I think when Caitlin's shoe comes out, I think it can be a $100 million business.
Wow.
I think it could become a top 5 signature franchise, not just in the W, but across basketball. And so that would be one of the reasons I would have maybe rushed it.
Yeah.
But of course you want to get it right. There's just testing processes and marketing campaigns and the boring behind the scenes part that takes sometimes that long. So I think they want to get it right. And when we get to next spring, I'm expecting it to be pretty successful out the gate.
Well,
Yeah, you heard that. $100 million across all of basketball. That's what it looks like. That's her influence, by the way. The draw of her shoe and everything that it is something these players continue to fight against. And guys, it's worse than it was. I think it's worse than it was last year. We got to remember she's missed what now? 9 games, I think. I mean, how many more incidents would there have been if she'd have played the last 9 games? That's the scary part. It seems like there's a not physical, a dirty situation involving play in every other game that she participates in. They not only are jealous, petty, hate her because of her race, hate her because of her fans, but they dangerously hate her. They want to wreck her. They want to put her out. It's crazy. And what the base doesn't understand, that can't stand her, is every time they pull some shit like this, ninth best guard in the league, her brand gets stronger and her fan base gets stronger and even more defiant and louder. It's like, yeah, keep hating on Jordan. In an age of social media, that's smart. That's real smart. Some of these supposed WNBA legends have made themselves look awful. They've forever tarnished their legacies because of how much we know they can't stand her. Keep fighting the money. Ignorant. I mean, who the hell does that? Fights the money. Okay. I wish I would. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time. Before we jump in, make sure you go to our merch store, our Make Basketball Great Again shirt, and our newest shirt that just came out. Both shirts are brand new. The American Flag Skull Fever Enforcer shirt. And use promo code CC22 for 20% off.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.